A genius is someone endowed with an extraordinary mental superiority. In our world, an example of someone like that would be the late Albert Einstein, a theoretical physicist who developed the theory of relativity, which revolutionized our way of understanding space and time, and gravity itself. Another genius would be Isaac Newton, a brilliant physicist and mathematician who discovered the laws of gravity. In today's video, we won't be talking about all that boring physics mumbo-jumbo. Instead, we'll be going over something more brain-dead, which is power scaling? Well, not really, this is intellectual scaling? I don't know. Working for a name for it. But we'll be going over which fictional character is better than the other one. But we're taking a different approach than talking about who's stronger or more powerful than their opponent. You saw the thumbnail and title. We'll be talking about who's the better inventor, Bulma or the MCU's Iron Man. To the left, we'll be looking at Bulma, the brilliant scientist and the CEO of Capsule Corp, whose inventions has been carrying the Dragon Ball series since its very beginning. And to the right, it's Anthony Edward Tony Stark, the genius billionaire and CEO of Stark Industries, a founding member of the Avengers, a man who went from being a selfish playboy to someone who made his life's mission to protect the world. Which one of these characters is the better engineer, and what is the pinnacle of their creations? Watch till the end to find out. But before we get started, how about you do me a favor and like and sub the video? Your support is greatly appreciated. Say hello to Bulma, the second daughter of Dr. Brief, the genius scientist and founder of the Capsule Corp, and his wife, Bikini? Wait, so Brief and Bikini? Whoever named these guys needs to be fired. I don't know what Toriyama's cooking. To top it all off, Bulma's older sister is named Tight. I'm kind of surprised Bulma didn't get named something goofy like Bottom or something. Anyway, the point is, Bulma inherited Dr. Brief's genius. Even from the age of 16, Bulma was talented enough to make the Dragon Ball radar, an invention that detects the electromagnetic pulse from the Dragon Balls. And she didn't even stop there. She later made the Super Dragon Ball radar, which as the name suggests, is the Dragon Radar on steroids. It's an improved version of the Dragon Ball radar, used to find the Super Dragon Balls. And the only problem with it is, it can't read the entire universe from Earth, since the Earth exists on the edge of the universe. So she had to get to the center of space. When the radar was used in the Tournament of Destroyers on the nameless planet, the radar located the 7 Dragon Balls that were scattered across the universe. Without her, the whole series wouldn't have happened. Without her invention of the Dragon Ball radar, Google still would have probably been in the mountains, oblivious to the world around him. Also, Bulma's genius doesn't even stop there. Can't believe I almost forgot this, but at 5 years old, she fixed Jacko's spaceship. Let me repeat that. A 5-year-old fixed alien technology that not even her dad was able to fix. Not only that, but then she proceeded to fly it. Perfectly too. Do you have any idea how insane that is? Some 5-year-olds don't even know math. Bulma's the definition of built different. She was able to grasp the mechanics of the ship's anti-gravity device. And her theory of how it works was even closer than her father's. Dr. Brief, the mechanical genius who invented capsules. A revolutionary invention that allows people to store various objects without regard to shape, size, or weight, including weapons, vehicles, and even houses. Let's not forget, he's the one who made the gravity machine for Goku. He was outmatched by a 5-year-old. And this isn't the only one time she's done this. In the Cell Saga, when her father couldn't understand Dr. Joro's notes about the androids, Bulma fully understood their components and discovered that both androids 17 and 18 were designed with an emergency shutdown circuit, and she engineered a controller that would shut them down. Her expertise with the androids doesn't stop there. She then fixed up the damaged android 16 and removed the bomb that was implanted within him. Alright, so we've gone over Bulma perfectly understanding alien technology and the androids, and her also making a device that can scan almost the entirety of the universe. So you might be thinking, she doesn't peek from that, right? Well, here's the thing. You would be very, very wrong. 'Cause guess what else she discovers? Fucking time travel. That's right. A machine capable of transporting a person to any point in time that they desire. She made this machine while on the run from killer androids. Trunks used this machine to go to the past and save Goku's life by giving him a special medicine for his heart disease. Loki, Bulma might be the MVP for the whole DB series. Since day one, she saved the Z Fighters multiple occasions, and none of them would be here without her. Even with limited resources in the future, she was still on top of her game. Also, these feats I've listed for Bulma were only some of my favorite feats. She's also done things like building Gohan a watch, lets him swap out his clothes for his Saiyan costume in just 2 hours, translating the Mickean language, rebuilding Raditz Scouter, and even making a microband that lets her shrink herself. Alright, enough about Bulma. Let's get on to the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT Tony Stark, aka the Da Vinci of our time, aka the Merchant of Death, aka the world's greatest hero. Very few heroes have an absolutely stacked resume like Tony. Tony is a genius, billionaire, playboy, and philanthropist. And let's not forget the CEO of Stark Industries, and a founding member of the Avengers. But Stark wasn't always a hero. Before he was known as Iron Man, Stark was a weapon arms dealer, having inherited the company from his dad, who was also a genius inventor. Howard Stark was pretty stacked as well. He's worked on a government project called Project Rebirth that led to the development of the Super Soldier Serum. Not only that, but he also gave Captain America his iconic vibranium shield that aided him in the fight against Hydra. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to the man who made two of the most iconic heroes in Marvel history, Howard Stark. But his genius doesn't stop there. He founded Stark Industries, an organization that developed different types of weapons for the United States of America. Satellites, drones, advanced robotics, bombs, you name the weapon, Stark Industries has probably made and sold it. The company flourished in the weapons business. Unfortunately, working in such a dangerous business has its downsides, and Howard Stark, and his wife were targeted by Hydra, and they were assassinated by the Winter Soldier. Following his death, Tony inherited the company, and he followed in the footsteps of his father. And believe it or not, when you're a soulless businessman and create tools of destruction for profit, karma has a way of biting you in the ass. And in Stark's case, let's just say he had a taste of his own medicine. When one of his own missiles exploded right next to him, the shrapnel from it got into his chest and almost entered his heart. But his unluck doesn't end there. Stark gets kidnapped by the Ten Rings and he's held for ransom. And guess what? He wakes up, hooked up to a car battery, that's stopping the shrapnel from entering his heart and killing him. To add on to the unfortunate series of events, he's then forced by the terrorists to make a Jericho missile, or else he's off to meet his maker. Hearing all of this, what do you think he's gonna do next? A. Cry like a whiny bitch. B. Comply. Or C. Off himself by removing the car battery. Obviously B. We've all seen the movie. And if you haven't, what the hell are you doing, dude? Go watch the movie. The recent ones aren't peak, but the older ones were actually freaking goated. And I love them. So, go watch it. Actually, now I think about it, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was pretty good too. But the point still stands. The older ones are peak. Anyway, on to Stark's first feat of what makes him the GOAT. Now this feat is absolutely hype. I don't care what anyone says. Tony Stark building a miniature arc reactor out of the palladium found in the missile was awesome. What is an arc reactor, you ask? Well, nothing much. It's only a power source designed by Tony's dad to replicate the Tesseract's energy that powers Stark Industries. And Tony goddamn Stark built a miniaturized version of it, working in a sweatshop. If that doesn't sound cool to you, he then proceeded to tear parts of the Stark Industry weapons given to him, and he fused the pieces together to turn them into plates of armor. But that wasn't enough. He attached to the armor various missiles and flamethrowers to give the Ten Rings the biggest ass whooping of their lives. The funny thing about this feat is that a group of scientists were tasked with doing the same thing, creating a miniature version of the arc reactor. But they still couldn't pull it off like Tony. Even with full access to a state-of-the-art lab and the giant arc reactor, they couldn't come close. Meanwhile, Stark did it in a cave with a box of scrap. When you think of Iron Man, what's the first thing that comes into your mind? That's right, his incredible arsenal of armor. Tony's made a shit ton of armor over the years, and he's developed his armor to be more accessible, have better AI, possess power absorption, convert to energy-based weapons, and even integrate outside items. Let's take a look at his first armor. Although it had a freaking flamethrower, and could tank a barrage of gunfire, it had huge weak spots that foes could easily target. And even though it could launch itself off the ground, I really wouldn't say it had flight. The Mark II built up on all areas of the suit. Although Mark I got staggered by gunfire, this one could tank a tank no problem. Not only that, but he even reacted to his shots and managed to evade them. Also, this one unfortunately didn't have the flamethrower, but has missiles fast enough to kill gunmen before they can pull the trigger. And finally, it can fire no problemo, even 1% of power. This armor is a huge step up to Mark I, but its only major problem being it freezes at high altitudes. The Mark III doesn't have this issue though. Also, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit, since I don't want to be covering most of the marks, since the improvements aren't anything too major like the first armors. All you need to know is that for Mark 42, Tony can remotely control the suits, and even split them into individual pieces. And Mark 44 is the Hulkbuster, which as the name suggests, was made with the purpose of defeating the Hulk, and it does that perfectly as the Hulk stood no chance against Tony. His Tony could call in replacement parts if his suit got damaged, and the armor could shoot sedative gas and armor up around the Hulk if he grabbed his fist, and the armor even clashed fists with the Hulk. Also, let's not forget the hydraulic micropunching repeating arm that helped get the Hulk the nap time he deserves. Now, onto Mark 50. This armor is an absolute game changer since it utilizes nanotechnology that basically buffs all the components of the suit, like its repulsors, unibeam, missiles, and they're stored in a detachable housing unit of nanoparticles easily accessible to Stark by simply pushing it. The capabilities of this armor are absolutely insane. It has both life support and an environmental protection system, allowing Tony to survive in space with no difficulties. It's also way faster than the other armors, since the nanites can be modified to increase flight efficiency. The armor's nanite manipulation can even form a wide variety of weapons and tools, like a shield, blades, wings, battering rams, micro missiles, a foot thruster, and even zero cannons. Also, it has a nanite spray that can quickly seal up wounds. Also, the armor can relocate nanites to destroyed parts of the armor, but in doing so, this leaves the previous part of the suit more susceptible to damage. Alright, onto the final armor, Mark 85. This version is basically an upgrade to Mark 50, with enhanced durability and strength, almost able to keep up with the Mad Titan. Other than that, this suit has even better nanite control than the Mark 50. It's able to make the same tools and weapons and more. The suit harnessed the power of the Infinity Stones by making a nano gauntlet, giving Stark full access to the power of the Infinity Stones at a cost. Tony has also created an AI named Jarvis, which stands for just a rather very intelligent system. It was named in honor of Tony's late butler. The AI started out as just a natural language UI, but over time, it got upgrades to be used for running business at Stark Industries and its security. After Stark created the Mark II armor, it got loaded into it in every iteration of the armor after that, and helped Stark and the Avengers in various battles. Unfortunately, the AI got destroyed in the battle against Ultron, but the remnants of its code were uploaded into Vision, and its job was taken over by Friday, a replacement user interface program. Tony has also dabbled in time traveling. In Avengers Endgame, after learning about quantum energy, Tony runs simulations to find out models that would work with Scott Lang's quantum tunnel, and he miraculously figures it out. He builds a time-space GPS to travel through time using the quantum realm, and they manage to pull off their time heist. Alright, now that we're done with each of their feats, let's compare them to see who is more versatile in the situation they were in, and who would take the dub in this matchup of smarts. To start, let's take Iron Man being able to make suits able to take a moon, and hits from a version of Thanos that's miles stronger than the one that defeated the Hulk and Thor at the start of Infinity War. Now, did he lose badly? Yes, but hear me out. He lasted longer than the Hulk, and even did way better against fighting Thanos. Which goes to show, Stark Tech is awesome. Now, Bulma doesn't really have any armors in her arsenal, which is going to make comparing them weird, but she did remake Vegeta's armor to give to the Z Fighters in the Cell games. Not sure if I should be including this part, since in Dragon Ball, any sort of clothing or armor is dependent on the wearer's ki, so I'll just be throwing this part out there. But, she's also repaired Android 16, one of the Red Ribbon androids that's capable of destroying the planet, and fighting on par with Imperfect Cell. A being that gave Android 17 the biggest sucky of his life. So I wouldn't put it past Bulma to do the same feat Stark's armor has done, and possibly even better. Now I do know she got some help from her father in repairing Android 16, but she's been constantly shown to outsmart him, so I have no doubts that even without him, she would still be able to repair the android. So in the department of armor, power suits, not really sure what to call this section, but I'll give it to Bulma. Alright, now on to how they solve time travel. Bulma managed to complete this in an apocalypse while running away from crazy androids, so I'll give this to her too. Since without knowledge about pin particles from Scott, Stark most likely wouldn't have been able to figure out time travel. And to be honest, a lot of her feats are like this. Anything Tony has done, I doubt Bulma wouldn't be able to do the same thing, or possibly even better. Like, I highly doubt Stark would even be able to make the Super Dragon Ball radar. I am gonna give Tony one thing though. Creating a miniature arc reactor in a cave, since Bulma possibly couldn't do that. Only thing about this feat is his father already built one, although it was way bigger. So I don't really think we can put Bulma in the scenarios, since Tony already has experience with them. So it pains me to say this, but Iron Man might be outmatched. Bulma has constantly been shown to understand tech that's completely foreign to her, like with Saiyan armor, Raditz Scouter, and even the androids. It's really almost freakish how talented she is. Even as a child, she completely understood an alien spaceship, so she's just a freak of nature. And Stark ain't close to being the superior inventor. If we're talking about comic Iron Man, I give it to him though. But in this situation, Bulma takes the cake against the MCU's Iron Man. Oh, so since you made it to the end of the video, why don't you do me a favor and like and sub. Thanks for watching till the end, and I'll see you next time. And peace.